Welcome to New Hampshire Politics with John Burt. I'm John Burt. I want to thank you for joining me. And today, guess who is back from our famous neighbor in Bedford? BartFromuth.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate you coming up here.
Great to be back.
Because guess what? It's a week before the election.
Yeah.
It's coming quick.
Coming down to the wire. We've been talking about this now for about a year. So
yes.
It's a little bit crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I don't think I'm going to have any trouble saying President Trump.
I can get used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Well, it's
Probably
better
4 years.
It's better than the alternative.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you're talking about President Jill Stein.
Yes, yeah. That would be something if Stein beat the other one.
Oh man, no, I hear you. I hear it's. I'm glad it's almost over.
Yes.
I'm a little election fatigued, and but at the same time, I mean, it took me a really long time. I mean, I've been back and forth. I know in previous episodes, I've talked about how I'm going to float to the voting booth.
Yes.
In terms of my support for Trump, and then I've come back from that a few times, but now I'm back in the fold again. So,
yeah. Well, I do want to tell the viewers, my last week's show, I just want to thank everybody for emails, even a couple phone calls. Because I played this 8-minute video at the end, and because I do support Trump, and it's about Trump. It's something that I saw and that I wanted, and I'm going to air it again this week at the end, so make sure you stay tuned. But I just look at it, and it's like, yeah, this is why I'm voting for the guy. Everything that is said in this video that the mainstream media doesn't want to air.
Well, hey,
here.
I hear. Actually, my inspiration to finally come full circle on Donald after some of the stuff that drove me away for a little bit.
Yes.
I had some problems with, as I'm sure many Americans did. Actually, my inspiration came from a very unique and out of the ordinary source.
Yeah.
So we'll play that video at some point in time too. But it's amazing the strange bedfellows this election has created.
It has.
It really, in my opinion, it really is the people versus the establishment.
It is.
And you can even see that in terms of the party leaders for our own party that are not supporting the party's candidate. Yep. Wall Street hates this guy. The establishment hates this guy. The status quo really hates this guy. And I'm not saying he's going to be the greatest president of all time, but he does represent, I think, a lot of the same kind of hope for change that maybe Obama brought to the table back in 2008. So we'll have to see if he delivers on that. But hopefully folks will be as shocked as I was when I saw this video when we show a little bit later today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be about 20 minutes in. And so if you want to give me feedback, my email is john, John, @burtnh.com, and that's BURTNH.com. And, I really appreciate all the kind feedback. And surprisingly, years ago, I used to every now and then get some negative ones, but boy, I haven't had those in a long time. So I don't know if they moved to Bedford or somewhere else.
Maybe I've been getting a lot of negative feedback lately over in Bedford. So maybe it's because you've been. It's your fourth term coming up here. Or?
This is going to be my fourth term. Yeah.
Fourth term. So this is going to be my second term coming up. The voters in Bedford were kind enough to send me back.
Through the primary.
Through the primary against the speaker's objections and money, but I appreciate that. Thank you, Bedford. So I'm getting a little out there a little bit more, but I have started to get a little bit of negative feedback, letters to the editor and stuff like that. Some really positive stuff too.
Yeah, that's good.
Which helped me get reelected, but it is funny now. The head's starting to get a little bit above the firing line, so to speak. So
yeah. Well, I do have because we do, Bart, as you know, there's a lot of questions about New Hampshire voting.
Yep.
And I can't remember what state this was in, but
I think it was Oregon Oregon. I think maybe Washington. So
yeah, and they had some issues out there. But wait till you see this video. And I mean, I'm sad that 5 people died, but this. So I think this guy's illegally voting is probably the least of his worries, because I'm assuming he's probably up on first-degree murder. I'm assuming he's going to get the death penalty, or if they have it out there.
Yep.
I don't know, but let's watch this video, and here it is right now.
Well, the man who went on a shooting rampage at a Washington state mall wasn't even a U.S. citizen, but he still voted 3 times. State records show Arkan Seaton registered to vote and participate in 3 election cycles. He is a permanent resident but never applied for citizenship. Washington state operates on an honor system, so he never had to show proof of citizenship. Arkan is charged with killing 5 people in just 60 seconds at the makeup counter in Macy's.
The honor system.
Oh,
So
highlight the takeaway was Washington State. So,
yes, Washington State.
You know, Washington State is honor system for some very suspect things, but has a lot of regulation over there at the same time. So it's just funny that voting's on the honor system, but so much other of their daily lives is regulated. But it's, you know, when Trump gets up there and he talks about voter fraud and he talks about rigged elections, I mean, these are the types of things that like most people don't know about, but Trump is actually giving a platform to. That's proof positive, in my opinion. I mean, this guy is not welcome here legally, but yet gets to vote because he goes to a voting a district precinct, wherever you might have it, and then just signs a piece of paper and just says, "Oh yeah, you know, Scouts honor."
Yeah.
You know, no. I mean, I don't know if you read about the voting systems in Texas that are pumping out
a little bit
Hillary Clinton votes for people that are voting straight Republican ticket. And you know what? I mean, this is Texas too, which is supposed to be a deep red state.
Yes.
But the election officials are saying, "Oh no, we think it's voter error," and I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And you know what? Trump being the nominee for a major party gives these things a platform that they've never had before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Now, you know, I think, you know, overall, you know, I think our voting is fairly safe. But boy, you know, in pockets, because like out in Chicago, you know, let's say they have 10,000 voters, and sometimes they have 11,000 that vote. You know, it's like, okay, where did these extra 1,000 people come from? But
well, I think it's okay to question.
Yes.
You know, I think it's okay to go ahead and challenge these systems, because if we're not challenging, we're just always accepting. I think that's a mistake. So
absolutely,
I'm not going to go in and say, oh, you know, Hillary wins this election, it's absolutely 100% rigged. I'm not ready to say that at all. I'm just saying that we should be a little bit more vigilant in terms of how our system works, and if we see some anomalies, we should deal with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and our friend here certainly, I hope, is an anomaly. But if there is an issue in the state of Washington, which has a huge rural population, if you take a look at those like voting heat maps, the majority of the landmass, not the population, but the landmass in Washington, the counties, deep red voters.
Absolutely.
Okay, so as you get towards like Seattle, obviously in the suburbs, that's when the population density takes over, and Democrats typically win that state. But I don't think that state can just be said, oh, that's always going to be a blue state. I think there is a portion of the population that has Republican leanings, and this is something that should be looked into to make sure that those elections are being held fairly.
Oh, absolutely, yes, yeah. And now, I think it was at least a week ago, I think it was October 25th, I think it was, Newt Gingrich was on Megyn Kelly's TV show.
Right.
And I did take a couple clips, and I want to thank, I want to thank everybody that I got these videos from, definitely Fox News, because you know, Megyn Kelly, she has a thorn against him. What's that saying about a thorned woman?
No, there's something like nothing quite like a woman's scorn.
Yeah, scorn. That's what it is. Scorn. Yes. And boy, she doesn't like Donald, and it's obvious.
Well, they got off on the wrong foot, I think, in that debate. But so I mean, you know, if I were in her shoes, I probably wouldn't be enamored with Donald.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think her job calls for her to rise above some of those differences, and I think she's doing a little bit of a lousy job of following through on that journalistic integrity. So.
Yes, yeah, I think so too, and not that we ever do locker room talk because we're above that, but you know, is it PC of me, political correct, if I say she is a good-looking woman?
She is attractive. We're doing live locker room talk right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're offended, turn down your volume or the TV for a short period. No, she is very, very attractive.
She is one. You know, so every time she messes up, Bart, I go, "Come on, Megyn, you're an extremely good-looking woman, and I love looking at you and hearing you talk." But straighten out here.
Well, I mean, good looking, whatever. It just, at the end of the day, there's something about her that just says to me, I'm trying to become a little bit more mainstream or trying to like fit in with the new media, like Fox News, like the Fair and Balanced thing. Like I do kind of giggle to myself when they say Fair and Balanced, like because they're clearly a Republican media station. I'm not gonna lie, but but I feel like with her, she's trying to become like the next Katie Couric or something like that.
Yes.
Like her ambitions go to NBC or CBS, and she's auditioning right now.
Oh yeah.
And that does rub me the wrong way because I feel like she's not being fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
In some cases, because she really did beat up Donna Brazile the other day. I mean, that was fantastic. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I did.
That was awesome. You should watch that. We should have that on the video next week.
Yes, I'll have to find that video and bring it on. But which is the video? Let me get rid of this, and it's video 2 is the one that I'm bringing up. Where is? Nope. It's Newt 1 is the one I'm going to be doing it. Let me get my videos right because I did mess up once. But here's the first video. It is great. Here it is right now.
I mean, you want to know why Donald Trump's had a rough time?
If Trump is a sexual predator, that is...
He's not a sexual predator.
Okay,
you
that's
can't
your
say
opinion.
that.
I'm not taking a position
defend
on
that
it.
statement.
I am
I'm
not
sick
taking a
and
position
tired of
on it.
people like you using language that's inflammatory, that's not true.
Excuse me, Mr. Speaker.
Donald
you have
Trump
no
was not
idea
this-
whether it's true or not. What we know is that there are at
neither
least...
do you.
That's right, and I'm not taking a position on it, unlike
yes, you are. When you use the words, you took a position.
So what
and I think
I
it's
said
very
is
unfair of you to do that, Megan.
incorrect.
I think that is exactly the bias people are upset by.
There you are. And I think Newt's right. There's a huge bias.
But so this is like, and again, there's a lot of issues that people have with Donald.
Yeah.
I have a lot. I mean, him and I probably agree. I know you probably too. Like 20-30% of what he stands for, what we think he stands for, because he used to be a Democrat before he ran as a Republican.
Yes. Yeah.
But he's made it acceptable to push back against acceptable norms. And here's Newt. I'm like, if Donald's not running for president right now, I'm not sure that Newt feels emboldened to go ahead and push directly back on me. When she says Donald's a sexual predator,
Oh yeah.
and he says, well, wait a minute, you're not being fair to the fact that like Bill Clinton has
Yes.
a long history, and that we're going to see a video coming up here real quick.
Absolutely.
Where you're going to see the double standard takes place even on Fox News, which, again,
Yeah.
I'm just a voter. We're volunteers, and we're not really politicians at the state level. Like here, we don't get paid. We're just voters that care, I think, and take that
extra.
next step. We
Yes.
just do a little extra.
Yeah.
But this, to me, shows the establishment is just so concerned at such almost the atomic level of sound the 5-alarm fire, and we're going to show you the video right here. You'll see.
Oh, it is, and that's why at the end, like Bart mentioned that, or not the end, but in the middle there of our show, another 5-6 minutes we'll show the 10 minutes we'll show that other video. I can't wait till you see this. I mean,
It changed my mind. So.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, and so let me find the next one, Newt 2 here, and here it is.
America. And the poll numbers show us that the women of America in particular are very concerned about these allegations and in large part believe that they are a real issue. And don't dismiss the women summarily.
Do you want to comment on whether the Clinton ticket has a relationship to a sexual predator?
We on the Kelly File have covered that story as well, sir. I will tell you
I
the
just want to hear you use the words. I want to hear you use the words, Bill Clinton, sexual predator. I dare you. Say Bill Clinton, sexual predator.
Mr. Speaker,
Disbarred by the Arkansas bar. Disbarred by the Arkansas bar. $850,000 penalty.
Excuse me, sir. We on the Kelly File have covered the Clinton matter as well. We've hosted Kathleen Willey. We've covered the examples of him being accused as well, but he's not on the ticket. And the polls also show that the American public is less interested in the deeds of Hillary Clinton's husband than they are in the deeds of the man who asks us to make him president, Donald Trump. We're going to have to leave it at that, and you can take your anger issues and spend some time working on them, Mr. Speaker. Thanks for being here.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see an angry Newt Gingrich there. All I saw was the Newt Gingrich that felt empowered to go and call a double standard out for what it was.
Yes.
I mean, Bill Clinton is going to have a significant impact in the next administration. He's a former president, and they're acting so like He's some sort of like second cousin that she might have or something. It is so important for people at home to realize that when Bill Clinton gets accused by somebody of being a sexual deviant, and his wife stands by his side and calls the accusers liars and tries to discredit them, that she's an active participant in his potential misdeeds. And the fact that, I mean, when Newt said, I dare you to say it right now, Bill Clinton, sexual predator, and she couldn't say it, what more evidence do you need? I mean, it's like
But did you see her face? I mean, she was the one steaming.
Because where else is she going to go? She's on live television right now, and that's going to be her move. Oh, like, I'm not angry, you're angry. Well, you clearly...
Well, but that's a liberal spin. That's what they do. The second they lose, because I debate them all the time on Facebook and occasionally in person. The second they lose, they'll point, because I'm a terrible speller. I must have missed a few spelling classes. I'll admit it. Oh, John, you spelt "to" wrong, or this word wrong.
Right.
And it's like, really? Thank you. I just won. Bullseye. Thank you.
Well,
when I used to be heavy, the first thing they'd call, oh, you're just fat. Really? Okay.
But even more so, this election goes beyond like conservative versus. I don't think this is conservative versus liberal. I think this is every individual that's not part of the system.
You're right.
Fighting against those people that are in control and trying to keep the status quo the same. Because I know a lot of Bernie Sanders people that are voting for Donald Trump. I mean, Democrats beware, because your narrative about Bernie people are behind Hillary, that is not true. Yeah. And I'm not saying he's going to win this election, but they're going to be surprised in terms of the types of folks that are voting for Donald, because I think he kind of transcends the party politics. If you look at like poll numbers, people don't actually associate him with the Republican Party. He's just kind of his own outlier, so to speak. He is.
Well, look at the unions that are endorsing Trump. A ton of them.
Yeah, no. And you know what? I mean, like, what a lesson, though, for Republicans, like, in terms of some of the outreach that he's done.
Yeah.
He went to unions in the primary. Like, talk about unheard of, right? When was the last time a guy came to New Hampshire and said, oh, I've been endorsed by the policemen's union or the firemen's union? And it never happens. You don't even bother going to their events because you just, again, I'm just being honest about my party. We typically just write those elements off in terms of support for our candidacy. Yeah. But Donald reaches out to groups that normally have nothing to do with Republican ethos or our politics. And then this is like when I get really, really fired up about like the WikiLeaks and the James O'Keefe videos. Yeah. The elements that they brought to bear to stop him from going to Chicago and some of these inner city urban areas where we can talk to African Americans and do an outreach, which Republicans are terrible at, by the way.
Yes, but Trump's doing good.
But Trump tries, and then they go and they strip such violence on purpose to stop him, because how dare he go after their fortress of votes. And that to me was so telling about the lengths they went to cancel his Chicago rallies.
Yes.
Because why would a Republican ever go to Chicago to talk to the African Americans? But his message is clear. What have you got to lose? What are the Democrats who you've put in power, who've helped, who've promised you? How has your life improved as a result? Yeah. And that message is powerful and it's dangerous for the elite that hope to keep their positions of power.
Well, that's what's in my last video. There's a bunch of African American people and of all colors saying I support Trump because this is for the same reason I'm supporting them.
Not only that, but how rich is it? Like, I love Democrats are saying Donald's so racist because he wants to build a wall. You can call him nationalistic if you'd like to, and he's building a wall around the United States of America. Last time I checked, he's not building a wall around suburban white populations and trying to keep out the inner cities from going to the suburbs and stuff like that. He's building a wall around the United States, well, really just Mexico. But why is it that a Mexican American, someone that's an American citizen that happens to have Mexican heritage, would care about Trump keeping out illegals? That, in my own opinion, is making a massive judgment about these folks that have come into the system legally, that are producing, paying taxes, everything else.
And they're being cheated.
That'd be like you coming to me and saying, hey, I want to stop illegal Irish immigrants from coming in. And I say, hey, stop right there, John Burt. My family happens to be Irish a generation ago, and I wouldn't care. Yeah. I'm American now.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's that whole divide and conquer politic.
It is.
right there in front of us.
That's what they've done for years. Matter of fact, both sides have done that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I think that's why the establishment in the Democrats, the establishment in the Democrat Party hates Trump, is because he's saying, no, we can all join together. He's going to these black churches and other churches, and they're saying, no, get out of here. What are you doing? But the churches are saying, welcome. Thank you for talking to us.
Because finally, a Republican's reaching out to groups that like we're unifying. We're trying to get a bigger group of people to come together and say, direction we've been going in hasn't been all that fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. But I got one last video before our surprise video, which is really good coming up. So here is number 3. It's real short, but it's right here.
And you can take your anger issues and spend some time working on them, Mr. Speaker. Thanks for being here.
And you too.
Yeah, it was just a short one. I just wanted to show you Megan's face again because, well, I hate to say it about Fox, but they've lost their way, some of them.
I know it's your show, but can you calm down a little bit right now?
Yeah. Are you
Can we go to commercial break so that you can get a breath of fresh air? Because you're really angry right now.
Oh, that's what she would say.
I see the steam coming out of your ears.
Yeah, we're going to need the safe space area on the New Hampshire Politics show.
Did Dave put up is there a directional? No directional this week. Usually we have an evacuation route,
Yes. But we will be taking a break in a couple minutes, but I want to talk a little bit about this video that really you sent me. And, it's all over Facebook. If you want to talk a little bit about it.
It's compelling, it's edgy,
What do you want to tell who and I'll tell you.
The most unlikely source of positive understanding of, not positive Trump, but understanding of Trump.
Yeah.
Positive understanding, most unlikely, like an enemy of the conservative movement.
Oh, absolutely.
The Republican movement in general. So I'll hold it as a surprise, but wait till you guys see this, because this blew me away, and he's so eloquent, but in a brash kind of way, but it just brings everything together, I think, so you can see people that support Trump is not these like racist, xenophobic, angry, white people. It's much bigger than that, and it's a movement against the status quo and the establishment, and we'll show you in a couple minutes.
Well, the thing is he says it so perfect. Once I watched it, I was like, oh my God, I agree with this guy. He's 100% right. And that's why I really I had
to watch it twice just to make sure I was getting the right message.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I know Trump's going to win. Just right here is proof. Everything else I'm seeing. Matter of fact, over in Hopkinton, the other day I went to Hopkinton. I had to drive through.
Yep.
I normally take my state rep plates off. I put a mask on, because if they see me going through their town, they're going to have me hanging at the oak tree.
The villagers come out.
Yeah, they do.
The pitchfork.
They'll chase me right out of their town. That's how liberal they are over there.
Yep.
When I saw, I think it was Custer. I think that was their district, and their
I think
local,
Annie's from Hopkinton.
Yeah, and there's all the liberal political signs. But I saw at least 5 to 6 of them that had a Trump sign in their yard. And I'm going, whoa, another Democrat voting for Trump.
Well, they got a real problem up in like Lebanon and Berlin and like.
Oh, do you think that's happening there?
It's all over. Like Trump signs everywhere.
Well, I think they were mad what happened to Bernie.
Oh, rightfully so. And that's so even if Hillary wins, and I know we got to go to a break, but even if Hillary wins,
and she's not
the calamity that awaits the Democratic Party after the election is over, because people are like, the fear of Trump is forcing that party together right now. But once the Trump threat is gone, if Hillary wins, and she might not, right? Yeah. But they're all going to turn on each other like day 2 of that administration. Yeah. You wait and see. People say, the Republican Party's over. Like, no. The Republican Party does not have the issues that are on the horizon for the Democrats, because once the Bernie folks come out, and admit to what they've seen in those emails and the lengths the Democrats went to suppress his ability to win their primary. What's the point of having a primary if it's just an exhibition?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all it was.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm seeing all these, the Democrat candidates with a Trump sign. And I'm going, I know New Hampshire will go Trump.
And I had a friend that pointed out, I'm sure if you got a hold of the Republican, the RNC emails, they'd be just as dastardly. And that might be true, but Trump won the primary. Trump was allowed to win the primary.
That's right.
That's the difference, folks. Bernie should have won, but
Absolutely.
didn't because of their efforts. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So.
Well, here's our surprise video because it is going to be good.
Oh, do you have to go break first, or?
Yeah, no, we're going to do it during the break.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be on break. Oh, and I did want to point out, I did not edit anything out of this video. He said a few unpleasant words that I just don't want on my show because of who my viewers are. So you might hear, a little pause there. But the video is in its entirety. But it's a good video. So let me find it, and it's right here, and we'll be right back.
Vote for Trump, and they don't necessarily like him that much. And they don't necessarily agree with him. They're not racist and rednecks, they're actually pretty decent people. And so I wanted to sort of, after talking to a number of them, I wanted to write this. And Donald Trump came to the Detroit Economic Club and stood there in front of the Ford Motor executives and said, if you close these factories, as you're planning to do in Detroit, and build them in Mexico, I'm going to put a 35% tariff on those cars when you send them back, and nobody's going to buy them. It was an amazing thing to see. No politician, Republican or Democrat, had ever said anything like that to these executives. And it was music to the ears of people in Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania in Wisconsin, the Brexit states. You live here in Ohio, you know what I'm talking about. Whether Trump means it or not is kind of irrelevant because he's saying the things to people who are hurting. And it's why every beaten down, nameless, forgotten working stiff who used to be part of what was called the middle class loves Trump. He is the human Molotov cocktail that they've been waiting for. The human hand grenade that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them. And on November 8th, Election Day, although they've lost their jobs, although they've been foreclosed on by the bank, next came the divorce, and now the wife and kids are gone, the car's been repoed, they haven't had a real vacation in years, they're stuck with the shitty Obamacare bronze plan where you can't even get a fucking Percocet. They've essentially lost everything they had, except one thing. The one thing that doesn't cost them a cent and is guaranteed to them by the American Constitution, the right to vote. They might be penniless, they might be homeless, they might be fucked over and fucked up. It doesn't matter because it's equalized on that day. A millionaire has the same number of votes as the person without a job. One. And there's more of the former middle class than there are in the millionaire class. So on November 8th, the dispossessed will walk into the voting booth, be handed a ballot, close the curtain, and take that lever, or felt pen or touchscreen, and put a big fucking X in the box by the name of the man who has threatened to upend and overturn the very system that has ruined their lives. Donald J. Trump. They see that the elites who ruined their lives hate Trump. Corporate America hates Trump. Wall Street hates Trump. The career politicians hate Trump. The media hates Trump after they loved him and created him and now hate him. Thank you, media. The enemy of my enemy is who I'm voting for on November 8th. Yes, on November 8th, you, Joe Blow, Steve Blow, Bob Blow, Billy Bob Blow, all the blows get to go and blow up the whole goddamn system because it's your right. Trump's election is going to be the biggest fuck you ever recorded in human history. And it will feel good.
I cannot believe that I agree 100% with Michael Moore.
Michael Moore.
What am I going to do? I mean, this has kind of spun my world. I mean,
Liberal-
I almost need a safe space area right now.
No, but I mean, liberal bomb thrower for years. But like, I've not seen anybody be able to put into context
Exactly.
the meaning behind the Trump movement. It's outside Republicans. It's outside Democrats.
Yeah.
Like, he's very eloquent. I mean, he uses some appropriately inappropriate words, I think, to really bring his point home. But there's so many people that feel left behind in the recovery that we've supposedly had, and it is a lot of people in Middle America. Like, everything feels as though it's going in the direction of large corporate lobbying interests, this kind of like one world kind of global market, so to speak, and that everyday Americans are being left behind. And he's right. These people aren't. I'm not racist. You're not racist. Those people aren't racist for supporting Trump. It's just, we're so sick and tired of politician, Republican or Democrat, time and time again, promising us change and then just getting in office and then doing what's right for themselves and their re-election efforts.
Yeah.
And you do need someone from outside, and Trump has a ton of flaws.
Yep.
I'm not excusing them. I think morally he's got some real demons he needs to wrestle with, absolutely. But there's no doubt in my system that if he gets into office, he's not going to be these people's buddy.
No.
I mean, Moore pointed out, like,
I think that's why they're scared to death.
Absolutely, but that's why, like, a Fox News, a Republican bastion, which normally is pushing a McCain or a Romney or whoever, is attacking a guy like Donald Trump. Even in the early Republican primary debates, they went out of their way to go ahead and paint him as this crazy kook, and he has some issues, but he represents a change that only a real outsider can bring.
Yeah.
A change that Bernie Sanders was trying to bring.
Yes.
Okay. They're not that far apart. I mean, their economic plans are different, but they both represented somebody where I could look at Bernie, and even if Bernie had gotten elected, would I have liked what he had in store in terms of taxes and everything else? His policies? Absolutely not. But I wouldn't have sat here and said to you, oh, I think Bernie's full of corruption and scandal, and he's just out there making... Bernie was, and to his credit, he was right. He actually is the least well-off senator of the 100 that we have.
Yes.
And that says something, because a lot of these folks use this position to make a lot of... But Trump has already made his money. He's insulated. He's not becoming America's sweetheart. His favorable is, what, 39%, even though he's got 50% support? I mean, he's a chance. Yeah. He's a chance to do something different. And you know what? It might blow up in our face.
Well, that's what Moore said, is that, that's what we can, that's what Trump is doing, is blowing things up.
He's the hand grenade that we can pull the pin, lob it at the folks that are controlling stuff.
Exactly.
Watch the explosion and then just sit back and see what happens. And you know what? I'm willing to take my chance.
Yes. Well, because I know what Hillary's going to give me. She's going to give me a Supreme Court that is going to come to Goffstown and take my guns.
Not just the Supreme Court that's going to come and take your guns, but Hillary represents large corporations still not paying anything in taxes.
Yeah.
Large corporations still moving jobs overseas, keeping their money overseas. And you know what happens when large corporations don't pay any taxes and move their jobs, their money overseas? Taxes get raised in the middle class, folks. That's the secret ingredient here.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard for the rest of us, because when we look at these billionaires not paying anything in taxes, it's because of the fact that they have the money to hire the lobbyists to go and talk to a Hillary Clinton or a Jeb Bush.
Yeah.
And get their little loophole, and then all of a sudden there's a deficit. There's a hole that needs to be made up, and they come to the rest of us to go and pay up for that.
Yes.
And that's why we pay 7% meals tax.
Well, and what did Michael Moore say about Trump with Ford Motor Company? Yeah. he walked into that meeting.
Can you imagine a Mitt Romney or Hillary Clinton going and saying to these executives, I mean, you guys have heard the released Hillary Clinton Wall Street tapes where she's talking about, oh, don't worry about my public persona. You guys are safe and blah, blah, blah. You
Yes.
just give them a nice big warm hug.
Yeah.
Republicans feel the same way about Wall Street as Democrats do. I just want to make sure everybody understands that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
John and I are not some sort of protectionist group,
Yeah.
for Wall Street. We could care less about these Wall Street bankers. They've been scheming the system for years. They got what's coming to them. But Hillary's going to perpetuate that system.
Yeah,
And you know what? Who's not? Donald Trump.
that's right.
That's why all the money, 90% of the money from Wall Street is going to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're
And it's-
scared to death.
And it's funny because she says she's going to raise taxes, but yet they give them all this money. You know what? I have a secret suspicion
Yeah.
that they know their taxes won't get raised,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the rest of ours will.
Yeah,
And-
they'll be exempt out. But what Trump did is he said, Ford, if you move your plant south, there'll be a 35% tariff when you come back. But that's what China and the rest of the countries do. We try to send our products over there, and they whack it so hard that nobody will buy it.
So Trump needs to do a better job, I think, of explaining himself.
Well, the news media ain't going to report it.
But he himself, I think, could do a lot to go ahead and bring a little bit more clarity to his message. So when he
Yeah.
talks about Mexico paying for the wall, everybody laughs, and there's that very funny SNL skit where it takes place. Trump was on the show, and it takes place in the future when Trump's president, and he's sitting in the Oval Office, and the president of Mexico comes running into the office. He goes, "Hi, Mr. Trump, President Trump. Here's the check for the wall."
Oh, yes, I did.
It's funny. It's hilarious. But people think the absurdity. He's going to get Mexico to pay for the wall. He's not getting Mexico to just show up one day with a check for the wall. What he means is he's actually going to charge tariffs in terms of trade from Mexico.
Yes.
And that's what pays for the wall. So I want everybody at home to understand when he says Mexico's going to pay for the wall, he's not getting a physical check from the government. What it means is getting a tax goods coming in from Mexico. He's going to use that tax revenue from Mexican imports. That is what he's going to use for the revenues to pay for the wall. But he doesn't do a good job of explaining that.
Well,
Unless you read his policy papers online, which no one does. So
Exactly. And I think also, too, is that with less illegals sucking off the system, which is billions of dollars, that is also going to be used to build the wall. Because that's going to be a savings. If they're not coming up here getting on welfare, not that all do, but some do.
Well, John, I'm not sure right now. You say illegal. My immediate impression, if I'm listening to Hillary Clinton and the rest of them, is that you might be racist.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But then I put my thinking cap on,
Yeah.
and then I think to myself, wait a minute, you're just talking about people that are here illegally.
Yes.
You mean people that are breaking the law to enter the country. You're actually not talking about immigrants
No.
that are utilizing the system in place legally.
Nope. Welcome. Come in.
Wait a minute, you're not a racist.
Well, it's like the bad Muslims. I don't want them here. And Trump says, let's put a brakes on. But they all say, oh, see, he wants to wipe out every Muslim. No, 98% of them, I'm hoping, is a good number.
Yeah.
Are great people.
Great people.
It's the 2% that want to come and kill John Burt, my dog, and my chickens.
Well, let's rewind 500 years. I'm a Catholic, okay?
Yep.
Let's say I'm coming from Spain. I'm a big fan of the Spanish Inquisition, all right? So I come over here and I'm like, hey, John, nice to see you. Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior? No, I'm gonna bring you over here and torture you for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably not cool,
Yes.
okay? To go ahead and try to push upon you my religious beliefs
Exactly.
in a violent fashion. That's what he's worried about there. But I also want to bring home this point, and people need to pay close attention to this. If you're looking for truth in terms of this refugee crisis and have a big heart, take them all in, let's think about whose foreign policy created this refugee crisis. Because last time I checked, when Bush was in office, we didn't have Syrians fleeing by the tens of thousands.
Exactly.
You know who goes and gets involved in the Syrian government and decides, well, Assad's not going ahead and giving us favorable oil pipeline deals. So we're going to go ahead and oust him. Well, that didn't work out so hot. So we backed some rebels. And now there's a civil war. And now tens of thousands of Syrians are fleeing their country looking for refuge. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State pushed this foreign policy that created this refugee crisis in the first place. So now what they're doing is they're asking us to say, well, they're not so explicitly doing, but we created this mess. We just want you to sit back and deal with it and just be accepting of it. It's the humanitarian thing to do. You know what the humanitarian thing to do was? To not get involved in another government situation in the first place.
Well, but didn't I'm trying to think, Code Pink, remember that group? They used to go down to Washington and beat on Bush all the time.
Yes.
Right in the congressional hearings and everything, they'd start, and flop out on the ground, and they'd have to drag him out.
Yes.
And for some reason, they've been on vacation for 8 years.
I happen to think
all of these anti-Republican groups are gone. And remember the No Nation building? Bush, No Nation building. Well, what has Obama been doing? Nation building, just like you explained.
But it's crazy because here they've changed the minds of a generation of Republicans to agree with them.
Yes.
You accomplished your mission during the Bush years. No more nation building.
Yeah.
No more getting involved in foreign conflicts that really do not strike at the heart of our national security.
Yeah.
You've convinced us as a party, not the John McCains and the war hawks, but the everyday American average Republican voter, by and large, agrees with the Democrats and the point that they made during the Bush administration. But all of a sudden, those anti-war protests evaporate, as you've pointed out.
Yeah, they're gone.
Maybe per the James O'Keefe videos,
yes,
maybe those groups just stopped getting their funding.
Yeah. Well, I know up in Concord, they used to have one. Every Friday, I think it was, because St. Johnsbury, Vermont had the same thing. These few people would show up with no war.
Yeah, no.
Well, where are they the last 8 years? And every now and then I'll see one out there, but the majority of the time they're disappeared.
It's a shame because I do feel like they perpetuated positive change when they were they brought the attention to the fact that maybe we shouldn't be sending our sons and daughters to get their limbs blown off in a foreign country that none of us care about. Here we are on the brink of war with Russia over Syria.
Yes, yeah.
What do you or I or anybody out there on TV, what do you care about the Syrian government?
Yeah, exactly.
And if this is about atrocities that they do to their civilians, which is how they're trying to build this is very similar to the Bush doctrine in terms of going to war with Iraq, by the way. So take a page out of Bush's book on war for Barack. But if that's our motivation, why aren't we involved in the Congo or any of these other African nations that have far more atrocities? If it's a real humanitarian, it's not a humanitarian mission. There's a deeper rooted
absolutely.
Agenda that we're all being sucked in. And I don't want to go to war with Russia. I know you don't want to go to war.
No, I just soon avoid it.
And I'm watching debates in which Hillary Clinton is talking about Donald Trump cozying up to Putin. What is the big deal with having good relations with another superpower?
Yes. Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
I don't agree with how Mr. Putin is president for life over in Russia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A little dictatorship.
He seems to believe in transparency in every other country but his. That's his own little issue and the Russians' problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but at the end of the day, I don't care if Donald or our country has a good rapport with Russia. That means that my daughters, your children don't have to worry about World War III.
Yes, that's what I'm looking at.
And we're seeing a situation which, Donald, his foreign policy is going to lead us to World War. All I'm seeing right now, if I'm actually reading in between the lines, is that Hillary's trying to enforce a no-fly zone over Syria that will escalate into a significant conflict between two major nuclear powers.
That's right.
And none of us have any skin in the game.
Yeah. That's it. We should just, let them work it out themselves. But, but Hillary and Obama want to be there for other reasons.
But whose foreign policy is more dangerous? It's Hillary Clinton's by and large. There's no question in my mind. Donald says crazy stuff, but Hillary's actually willing to go and do it.
Yes, yeah.
And she's proven it. And I read the New York Times. Follow Jill Stein on Twitter. She's the Green Party candidate. She's a hardcore liberal. She even says that Hillary Clinton's foreign policy is far more dangerous than Donald Trump's.
Wow.
But if you watch the mainstream media, they're constantly pushing this, Trump and Russia are cozy, Trump and Russia are cozy. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we should all be, happy that he wants to go over and
shake his hand. And
why don't we get along for a few minutes?
You know what? Doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. So.
But we're going to play, we're at the end of the show, or at the end of what I want here that we're going to debate or talk about, but we're going to show that 8-minute video coming up. It's a repeat from last week, and again, it's a lot of the reasons there why I support Donald Trump, and make sure you get out and vote. But thank you for coming on, Bart.
Hey, thank you for having me. Appreciate it, as always. So.
Yes, and make sure you get back up here.
I'm going to try, survive the primary, which is the most important part.
Yes.
So hopefully Burt and Bart will be back at the State House.
Absolutely.
In a couple weeks' time. So.
Yeah. And make sure you watch the video, this upcoming video. It's again, priceless. I mean, it's something that I really believe in. And take care. I'll see you next week.
Good night, Goffstown.
All right, Donna, we've got some questions for you.
Hi, Mr. Trump, you've done great things in your life, and I just wonder, how do I, as an average person, begin?
Well, first of all, never think of yourself as average. You started off with the wrong question, because you're not average. You've got a lot going. I see you're smart. I see you're very beautiful.
What we were able to do today was allow people to see his heart for themselves and to make up their own minds about him. And they find out that he's not the person that the media has depicted him to be.
Are you endorsing?
I support Donald Trump, and everybody knows 100%.
Families. I know Donald forever. I like Donald very much.
Wonderful guy. I mean,
he is.
And he's miscast by the media. You know that.
I like Donald. He's got an enormous ego, but he's a good guy. He's got a big heart, by the way. He's very good to people. He's very kind to people.
People don't know that.
You just have to get that word average out of your vocabulary, and you have to tell yourself that you're great, and you have to believe it. If you can say it and don't believe it, it doesn't matter.
A kid that worked in the back.
Right.
I said, well, hey, how is Donald Trump? This is before he ran. This is months ago. He goes, unbelievable. He would come backstage, come back to the kitchen, and give $100 to the staff.
Yeah.
He would give these guys quietly. Nobody would know about that.
The fact is, I go down the streets of New York, and the people that really like me are the taxi drivers and the workers, et cetera, et cetera.
Also his children. I know his son, Eric. I've met him a couple of times. He's a great kid.
They're great kids.
They're great kids.
Yeah.
You know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Do you like him?
Yeah, I mean, he's real. That's all we need.
I like his ideas.
Those are real letters. Those are not corporate letters. Those are not letters from Exxon.
These are handwritten.
Those are not letters from General Motors. Those are letters from people. You have to have heart. You have to take care of women's health issues. You have to take care of poor people that they're never going to have a shot. And you have to take care of African-American youth who have never been in a worse position than they are right now.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me. And I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally.
I think Donald Trump, underneath it all, isn't just a business guy. I think he loves America. I really do. I think he cares.
This country has such potential. I love the country. I think we can make it better than ever before. We have to unleash it. People have lost their spirit.
Donald Trump represents truth, logic, and common sense.
His incentive and his self-interest is tied to the well-being of the country that he's supposed to represent.
They love me, I love them. And I'll tell you something, if I get the nomination, I'll win the Latino vote. I will win it, because I'm going to create jobs.
I'm Hispanic and I vote for Mr. Trump. We vote for Mr. Trump! Get behind the candidate, Mr. Donald Trump, that's going to do something for you. Yeah. That's going to give you a handout instead of a handout, baby.
A lot of things that he said is true.
Wow.
The Mexican border.
You're Hispanic and you're saying that. Are you sure? Wow.
I know what Donald Trump is doing is representing the absolute heartbreak and anger and frustration at a government gone mad.
I guess I just wanted to find out if there was one thing that you wanted people to remember about Donald Trump. What is it?
Never, ever give up.
The power of positive thinking, and I think that's very much in Donald's makeup.
If I become president, I couldn't care less about my company. I want to use that same up here, whatever it may be, to make America rich again and to make America great again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
Do not underestimate the power of Donald Trump, or you will be scratching your head wondering, how did he get the Republican nomination? And we will see the best debate in history. Hillary Rodham Clinton, Donald J. Trump.
We are here to stay. Donald Trump all the way.
Donald Trump has came up with some very strict immigration laws that would guarantee work in the African American community.
I hope he gets through with his intentions about building the wall.
Well, I just want to let everybody know that not all Latinos are blind.
He knows what money is, where it comes from, and how to make more of it rather than redistributing other people's in exchange for their vote.
And the intensity with Trump is like nothing I've seen since I was a little kid and Reagan was running. And they were saying this is America's last shot.
If we don't get it right this time, we're not going to have a country left, folks. We're not going to have a country.
Are we seriously trying to figure out whether or not Donald Trump would make a good president? The man has major skills that he can offer.
This country right now owes $19 trillion, and they need somebody like me to straighten out that mess.
Honestly, I really think voters and Americans are looking at this guy saying, it's refreshing to hear somebody not be a wuss, not be a politician, and really say what they think.
These aren't dumb people. These are American patriots, and they want this country turned around.
I don't want nuance. I want bold colors, red, white, and blue. America, I have seen in the last several decades, absolutely fray and decline. When I saw those guys on the boats, on their knees, I mean, that says a picture about America that I haven't seen ever before. Democrats, not one or two, but many, are voting for Donald Trump, as well as Republicans. I've seen this all over the place. So I think there's a big movement happening, and I got to say that, we need him.
You know, this is a movement, folks. This is not like even maybe about me. I don't want it to be about me. This is about common sense. It's about doing the right thing. The silent majority is back, and we're going to take the country back.
I have a big heart. I'm going to take care of people. I'm going to make sure that this country comes first. We don't come first. We don't come 10th. We take care of everyone else but our own, and that's going to change.
We're going to become rich again. We're going to become safe again. And we're going to become strong again.
Nothing is wrong with us. We don't have to like illegal aliens. We don't have to. We're Americans. We want Americans first. Why can't we be first?
We are ready for a change. We are ready, and our troops deserve the best.
And in the Middle East, I guess we've spent $5 trillion. We could have rebuilt our bridges, our tunnels, our roads, our hospitals, our airports. We could have rebuilt our country. We could have rebuilt our military. We could have taken care of Social Security. We could have taken care of everything. We are going to win so much. We're going to have win after win after win. You people are going to get sick and tired of winning. You're going to say, please, please, President Trump, we can't take this much victory. Please stop. We don't want any more wins. And I'm going to say to you, we're going to win. I don't care what you say. We're going to make our country great again. We're going to win. We're going to win. And we're going to win.